Every time I see a new pack of Totally Dazzled bling, my mind immediately goes to beautiful, one-of-a-kind, and unique jewelry pieces. In this video, I'll show you 4 pieces you can make from this pack. Let's get started. For this piece, you'll need a bag of quality pearls, you'll need a bead reamer, 2 needle nose pliers, a bead crimping tool, a wire plier or scissor, some jump rings or split rings, some crimping beads, some beading wire, a clasp of your choice, and 2 paper binder clips. And I'll be using the beautiful antique bronze angel wings as my center pendant in this strand of pearls. I got my pearls on Amazon, and I'll leave a link to my Amazon store for you. A lot of these pearls needed to be reamed with the bead reamer. My suggestion is put on a good show and get your bead reamer and just go through each bead before you even get started. Makes the project a lot simpler when you're not trying to poke the wire through a bead that won't go through. Simply take the bead reamer and put it in through each hole back and forth a couple times, and it opens it up enough to get your bead wire through. Next, you're going to measure out your bead wire depending on how long you want your necklace to be. Keep in mind the clasp takes up about a half of an inch depending on the size of your clasp. So in other words, if you want a 16-inch necklace, you're going to want to measure it a little bit longer. I like to go about 4 inches longer so that I have enough room to wrap the wire in through the crimp bead on each end. You can always clip it off on each end if you have excess when you're through, and once the necklace is secure. Now here I'm showing you a strand of beads that I had already started, and on one end I put one of those paper binder clips to secure all of the beads from falling off as I'm beading on the other end. For the opposite end, I've chosen a very strong magnetic clasp, but it's very bougie and blingy, so it goes well with the necklace I've chosen. So I continue to bead down a few inches of the beading wire. I just left that to show you how I string up a string of pearls real quick. And you want to make sure that you have an even amount of pearls, especially if you're going to hang a medallion or something in the center of the necklace. You don't want an odd number, so keep that in mind. As you're nearing the end of the necklace, you'll want to count those up and make sure you have an even number. Once you have all of your pearls on the bead wire, you're going to need a couple of crimp beads. They're teeny tiny little beads that you put the wire through and loop your end pieces, your clasp, onto the wire with the crimp bead. But before we do all that, we have to count up the pearls on the wire. So I can place those beautiful angel wings right in the center. Once we have the center marked, we can take our needle nose pliers and our jump ring, and we are going to attach the ring to the angel wing loop with the 2 needle nose pliers. And you never go east to west, you always go north to south, twisting those ends open and then closed, and you'll hear a little clicking noise when the 2 ends meet. Now look how beautiful those wings hang from the pearls. Next, we're going to attach the clasp to both ends. And we start with a teeny tiny little crimp bead. You run the wire through the crimp bead, in through the loop of the clasp, then back in through the crimp bead, and you pull the slack all the way down to the first bead of the necklace, making sure there's no wire showing between the crimp bead and the bead of the necklace. Then with your crimping tool or a needle nose plier, if you don't have a crimping tool, you just smash that crimp bead down really hard, and that's what holds it all in place. It's little, but it's mighty. And at this point, you can take your wire plier and snip off any excess beading wire right close to the crimping bead. I eventually put a bead cap over top of this, and you want to make sure that that beading wire isn't sticking out of the bead cap. So you want to make it really close to the crimp bead. Now we repeat the process by putting on a crimp bead, running the wire through it, through the clasp, then back through the crimp bead, tightening up the slack of the wire, crimping the crimp bead down hard so that it holds in place, then going ahead and nipping the wire close to the crimp bead, and then you have your necklace attached. And magnetic clasps are so easy on and off. Just make sure it's a good strong magnet. And I'd say with the angel wings, this necklace hangs about 18 inches in length. And just for reference, these pearls are 6mm pearls. So if you wanted to use an 8mm pearl, you'd probably need less pearls to achieve the same length. Let me slow the camera down a little bit so you can see it in all its beauty. I love it. Coming up next, grab a pair of those gorgeous pink rhinestone bows. Let's make earrings. I love these because the tails actually move. So cute, right? What you're going to need is a pair of shepherd hook findings. And all we're going to do is take our needle nose plier and simply open the loop with your plier at the end of that shepherd's hook. Now the bow has a loop at the top, so you're just going to slip that bow onto the hook and close it back with the plier. And make sure that the bow is facing in the right direction so when you put them on your ear, they hang in the right direction. And you can do this just by holding the earring up and looking at the way it hangs before you close up that ring. Then you're going to simply repeat the process for the other earring. And don't you know, I'm going to have to try them on. They look heavy, but they're not bad. I've worn much heavier. These are pretty comfy, and how cute are they, right? Next up, we are going to do basically the same identical thing with these gorgeous rose and key pieces. They have a loop at the top, so we may as well utilize it in our best boutique fashion, right? So you just open the end of the hook and you're going to slip it on the hook. Again, making sure it's hanging in the right direction. Once on the hook, you just close up the little split hook on the shepherd hook earring, just like we did for the bows, and repeat for the second earring. How easy is this, right? How many pieces of jewelry can you make for your loved ones this holiday? If you buy double bags, you can make earrings with all the loop bling from Totally Dazzled. So far, we've made a necklace, 2 earring sets, and now let's just try these earrings on. I love them. I love a long dangle. So easy to dress up a pair of jeans or go out on the town. Okay, so we've made 3 pieces so far. Let's make a 4th. How about a charm bracelet? You'll need a length of chain that'll go around your wrist loosely with a few extra links to spare when adding the clasp. Once you find the right length, you're simply going to snip off one of the chains with a wire snip, and you're ready to add the charms. Now, you'll need a few of those little C-rings, and you'll need to open them all up so that you can add your charms, just like we did with the earrings, using your needle nose plier. And I'm going to use a toggle clasp where the bar goes inside of the loop and holds the bracelet on. Here I'm going to open up my first C-ring. Remember, you always go north and south, never east and west, or you'll never get them to meet in the middle again. Also, when you close them, make sure you twist them back and forth a couple times until you hear the ends click. Then you know they're touching each other and they'll stay closed on the chain. That's the most basic thing about jewelry making. After you have that down, all you do is open the rings up, slip on the charm, and slip the open ring into the link on the bracelet that you wanted it to dangle from. Close it up. If you want them precisely and evenly spaced, you're going to need to count the links on the chain. Me, I just go with it. No one can really tell when they're dangling from your wrist anyway. Add as many or a few as you like. In this case, I only added 3 charms to go with the antique bronze colored chain, but really the more the merrier. And hey, if you're enjoying this video on jewelry making, please make sure you subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Sure would appreciate it. Now that all the charms are on, we're going to attach the clasp to the end link the same way we attach the charms. Open up a C-ring, add the clasp, add that to the end link, and just close it up. Now you have one side of the clasp attached to the bracelet, and you have to put the other side on. It's pretty basic. You simply repeat the process. Open the C-chain, put it on the clasp, and attach it to the end. And I love the little heart-shaped toggle clasp on this one. And I made it a little bit biggish, so I kind of just roll it right over my hand. And I like the dangle of the charm bracelet down on my wrist. I'd rather it be a little bit big so it dangles down onto my hand. Isn't that pretty? And you can add as many charms as you want. So to recap, we have two sets of earrings, the bow earrings and the key and rose earrings. We have the charm bracelet, and we have the beautiful pearl necklace with the antique bronze angel wings. And we probably could have made more from that pack, to be honest. It's an absolutely beautiful pack, as are all the Totally Dazzled packs. I'll leave my affiliate link in the description of the video, so you can go on over there and check out all the packs that they have and see what kinds of jewelry you might be able to make with them. Now, this is a pretty basic jewelry making video. If you think you'd like to see more jewelry types and a little bit more complicated jewelry, let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. I'd be happy to oblige. Thanks so much for watching.